Today we're going to talk about two companies that receive an undue amount of media attention, particularly these days. And we'd also like to talk about two technologies, one which you may have never heard about, but it actually trumps the other one that's currently being glamorized by Wall Street and the media, despite a century of failure. The two companies, Tesla and Fiat, which actually have more similarities than you'd think. In fact, they have a similar buyout or enterprise valuation of around $20 billion US. Yet, that's where the math similarities end. Fiat's revenues are nearly 100 times Tesla's, and Fiat produces 330 times more vehicles than Tesla does. Fiat is solidly profitable, while Tesla is just hitting this key metric. So imagine you had $20 billion US lying around. This could either buy you about zero in cash flow, or almost $11 billion in annual cash flow. That would actually probably be a hard decision for the Nobel Prize Committee, who just awarded Eugene Fama with a prize in economics for his theory that security prices at any time fully reflect all available information. To bring the Fiat numbers down to earth a little bit, we can look at revenues by each major segment. And if we get rid of every segment except the one which is by far the smallest, Maserati, now we can start with the comparisons. Both groups have about €1 billion in revenue, yet operating profit at Tesla on a trailing basis is still negative versus Maserati's very meager profitability. Both are ramping up production, Maserati even more aggressively, and it is currently producing 3,000 cars a month, nearly twice that of Tesla's 1.7 thousand monthly pace. Both companies are ramping aggressively because their showrooms have gone from having one competitive offering to now having newer products to drive traffic and shopping intent. While Tesla still only has one car in its showroom, Maserati now has 4, soon to be 5, when it introduces its SUV, which is ironically around the same time that Tesla introduces its SUV. And it's not just the financial measures that seem to match, but the cars do seem to look pretty similar to each other, don't they? So there we have it, Maserati and Tesla have pretty similar characteristics. Except Fiat's buyout value is equal to Tesla's, and you get all of these brands and revenue for free. If we assume Tesla's market price fully reflects, quote, all available information. But I'm failing to mention one key piece of information. Tesla's cars are all electric, baby. Electric motors are clean, while gas engines emit carbon dioxide. But to make an honest comparison between the two, we need to follow the power lines to see what's behind that charge. Coal and natural gas make up 68% of our power supply, the same as 10 years ago. Nuclear makes up 19%, which is slightly down over the last decade, but green energy has risen from 9 to 12% over the last 10 years. That's great, but it's incredibly glacial. Coal use has declined, but only because natural gas has become substantially cheaper. Looking at the unit cost curve, natural gas burns them all away. It's less than half of a coal alternative, which would be the next cheapest. At a 90% capacity factor, a combined cycle natural gas plant has a unit cost of less than a penny per kilowatt hour. So there we have it. 4 major sources to charge our 85 kilowatt hour Tesla battery. Because electricity rates at night are a fraction of the daytime costs, most people charge their cars overnight, which means they are drawing from baseload capacity, nearly always coal, gas, or nuclear. The carbon produced to make this Tesla go its full range of 301 miles is 190 pounds from coal, 112 pounds from natural gas, and of course, 0 from nuclear. Yet nuclear will only be the answer for about 20% of the country. The rest are producing carbon dioxide through their electricity consumption. Fiat happens to be a natural gas engine leader in Europe, and both of these models will produce only 92 pounds of carbon for the same trip as the Tesla. That's 18 to 52% less than the Tesla charged by coal or gas. Not to mention, the bi-fuel natural gas gasoline engine actually costs a few €100 less than the diesel version of this car. The suggested retail price is just over €12,000. Compare that to the estimated cost of Tesla's $30,000 battery. You get 2 cars for the price of 1 battery. It's not a secret that the bottom 85 to 90% of the auto market is not going to be able to go electric. Tesla's very brilliant founder has said that he expects to get the 3rd generation car as cheap as $30,000, which is the same cost of the battery today. Yet even still, it'll be twice the price of a mass market natural gas car, not to mention give you a lot of range anxiety whenever you want to drive further than the office. Maybe this is why GM is also jumping on the natural gas highway. Which I haven't even mentioned that highway stations today are selling natural gas for less than half the gasoline equivalent, and Clean Energy Fuels is working on making a transnational grid complete over the next 12 months. But just in case you miss the natural gas station, you can always fill these cars up with gasoline. Let me please be clear, I am not recommending anyone short Tesla, as the chart looks eerily similar to Volkswagen's 2008 chart, which had a legendary short squeeze up to €1,000. I really have just 2 simple points. Fiat's natural gas cars have a smaller carbon footprint for a fraction of the cost of a Tesla. And even ignoring Tesla's insane takeover value today, Fiat is incredibly cheap. Tesla can barely stand up to the operating and financial metrics of Maserati. Yet we get the rest of Fiat Group for free if we assume that Tesla's stock actually reflects what the Nobel Committee would suggest as, quote, all available information. Lastly, for anyone watching this before October 30th, 2013, we would just warn that a very bearish sell-side community has set a very high bar for Fiat's 3rd quarter earnings, and they'll almost definitely miss the estimates. We'll have more on that on our website in a few days. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you learned something useful.